what's coming up on your horizon. From high notes to sold-out stadiums, we take a look at Oklahoma's impact on the music industry. Stay with us for Oklahoma Horizon.
Oklahoma Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in career tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Courtney May.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. I'm Courtney May. Rob McClendon is away this week. Whether you're listening to the radio or sitting front row at a concert, Oklahoma is a vibrant musical state, offering all types of genres, with one thing in common, a love for music. From Broadway to alternative to country, Oklahoma has a rich musical heritage.
Little baby told God.
From greats like Garth Brooks to Reba McEntire, Oklahoma has definitely made its mark on the music industry. After taking a long break from music to raise his 3 daughters, Garth Brooks is back on stage. His new album, Man Against Machine, is his first new music in 13 years. And debuted at #1. It's been 10 years since Dakota native Carrie Underwood won American Idol. The singer is putting out a greatest hits CD in honor of her milestone anniversary. And the tiny girl with a bigger-than-life voice has graced screens and stages worldwide with her outrageous acting and vocal ability. Kristen Chenoweth returned home to Broken Arrow to record a PBS concert special. Whether it's country, alternative, or theater, Oklahoma's musical roots run deep. And in Oklahoma, no musical roots run deeper than red dirt, a music style that can be found at honky-tonks, state fairs, and sold-out concerts. Our Andy Barth caught up with some red dirt stars in an exclusive behind-the-scenes look, and he joins me now.
Well, Courtney, red dirt has a long history, but it recently exploded across the nation, thanks in part to 2 singers who rock the stages nationwide. And I sat down with both artists to talk about the music they love.
With guitars jamming and fans dancing, the stage is rocking with red dirt music.
The ultimate goal of the bands on here are to have a positive, healing experience. It's not to, oh my God, one day we're all going to get famous or something. You know, this is it. This is what we do.
Jason Boland and the Stragglers headline red dirt concerts around the nation.
Especially when we all met the original 4 of us, Roger, Grant, Brad, and I. We all had really different musical tastes and backgrounds, but all agreed on the type of band we wanted to become, which was just a good, somewhat garage-styled honky-tonk band.
And something you hear in every chord, Boland says energy is key.
You got to be excited at 11, not just maintaining at 11. At 11 o'clock, you have to be, you know, Superman and ready to go. So naps help.
The Current Land magazine covers the music scene in Oklahoma, and publisher Tom Barlow says red dirt is the foundation to modern-day music.
Hey guys, Bridget, Jennifer.
It's the roots of rock and roll. In Oklahoma, it has that Woody Guthrie roots. It has that the song is the message, and the message is the song roots. And so that message is a little more on top, and it's a little more folk background than it is in Texas, where in Texas it's a little more country background.
The magazine distributes to more than 450,000 people, and Jason Boland makes a regular appearance in the publication.
He was on our very first cover. He's been on the cover more than anybody else, and I just fell in love with Jason's music. My favorite album is still Pearl Snaps. As a songwriter, he's so superb. The words are like, they're just like silk, and they tell a clear message.
And Boland is not the only artist highlighted in the magazine.
There's just something in the Turnpike Troubadours music, like Jason's Boland, that it could be, it's timeless.
Evan Felker is the Turnpike Troubadours lead singer.
Well, I always loved playing music, you know, and I just kept pursuing it more and more. We were working, you know, I was working as an electrician, and RC was a pharmacist, and we were playing music on the weekends, you know, and writing songs together on the weekends and stuff. And we eventually just kind of phased out all the work and just started playing music full time, you know.
And for Felker, being on stage is his biggest rush.
The live show is the most exciting thing that a person can probably do, I think. I love to play, you know, especially the hometown crowd, regardless of the venue. Playing to a large group of people who are really into it is one of the greatest things you can ever imagine doing. It's great. The crowd feeds off the band feeds off the crowd, and you get this vicious circle going on that it perpetuates just this frenzied, exciting show.
And Felker says Red Dirt music is true Oklahoma.
As an Oklahoman, you identify with the music, and it's kind of our music, you know, and it's an interesting thing for a state who's so new and often I think struggles with its identity. This is something that's real, and that you know, we're identified with this kind of music.
And no matter how famous he gets, Boland says music is still the reason he loves his job.
Music, once it becomes a business, gets grouped in like everything else, and it doesn't have to be. It can still be something so close to pure, you know, as close as we can get it. We're still selling tickets, and there's sponsors and things going on, but the goal is still for a bunch of people to get together and have a positive experience.
Two artists, one goal: telling stories the best way they know how.
Well, now Red Dirt music grew from an old two-story, five-bedroom house in Stillwater called The Farm. For 2 decades, it was the center of what evolved into the Red Dirt scene. And Courtney, from there, it continued to grow and thrive.
All right, thank you so much, Andy.
You're welcome, Courtney.
Now when we return, an Oklahoma sound with an international flair.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
Not only are Oklahoma natives talented musicians, many find the Sooner State a great place to establish their musical foundation, even coming from another continent. Our Elisa Hines caught up with a musician who has come to the States to follow her musical dreams.
It's music night at Frank and Lola's in Bartlesville. Rockin' the room, the Colo Band.
It's about grabbing the attention. I'm a stage person. I'm a performer.
Bator Kahlo is a guitarist, singer, songwriter from Israel who loves playing the blues.
It's just something that I've learned from a very young age, how to play blues.
Now her style is not traditional blues.
Okay, so my music, I don't really know how to describe it. We just went to kind of a blues competition kind of a music, me and my band, and it was awesome. It was awesome not just because we won, but it was awesome because everybody said, this is not blues, but we won. So, you know, everybody said it's interpretation, right? It's how you're interpreting that. But everyone that I see basically is playing that, you know, that. That's great. That's awesome. It's not for me.
Playing since 10, Bator is glad her father didn't listen to her mother, wanting to keep her playing classical guitar.
It was cool. They forced me to do that. It's hard to force me stuff, but that was one of the things that they managed to do. My parents, my teacher. They was like, you gotta learn how to play classic first. I'm like, no, I want to play electric. Well, I'm only flesh and blood, human in my heart, and ain't no preacher gonna save my soul. And, you know, there were all the boys in my class, and, you know, the above me, you know, in school, in high school. They all were the cool people playing, you know, they have bands and stuff. And I'm like, what? I want to do that. That's cool. It looked like fun. So after a year of busting my and crying, I got my first electric guitar. And it was the happiest day of my life.
So Bator is making her own path.
And it's really scary. It's like, what are you doing? Everybody would say that you're crazy. You would have maybe 1 or 2, 3, if you're lucky, good friends that will push you over this edge. But then, you know, you gotta learn how to do that. And just fly.
And fly she is, all the way from Israel to Oklahoma, with a few stops along the way.
I was just jumping off a cliff. Still not sure if that was the right direction, but the wind was right. It's like, okay, let's do this. So I did. It was good. It was good. I would jump to New York first from Israel, and then, you know, I felt that I was like, all right, I'm done here. I'm not ready to go back to Israel, but I'm ready to learn more in other places. I think this is how I learned best. I was never a good student in school, sitting down, you know, in a class, but I was good when I needed to experience, when I needed to work with my hands or sweat or, you know, just do stuff, create stuff. So it was the best, but so I guess I'm taking myself places to learn. I went to school in OCU, in a college in Israel, Head College. They sent me here. I mean, you know, it was a student exchange, and it was my first jump, kind of by myself in America, because I really wanted from a very, very young age to come here.
Now Bator lives and works here on a visa for someone with extraordinary abilities in the arts.
You know, it's a simple visa. It's a work visa, like any work visa. And just an artist visa, you know, it's like you have a chef. So a chef have to work in cooking. You have to prove himself. We have, you know, a lot of people that work here, that move here to work. You have to prove yourself as a carpenter, as a chef, as a teacher, as a musician, as an artist.
But don't call her the I word.
I'm not an immigrant. I'm working here. I mean, you know, I'm on a visa. I'm very well taken care, pursuing my career, my life, myself. There are millions of artists in New York that I know that work around the world, and they carry this visa for many, many years. And, you know, just sort of kind of a way, you know, America is America. Yeah, it's all about exploring, you know. It's not about the visa, it's about exploring.
And proving herself.
How do I prove myself? I just keep playing. I try to talk less. I'm trying to keep it honest, but still very entertaining, because it's about my entertaining life. And so, you know, it's fun. What I do is maybe to put out a message, maybe just for you to forget the day, maybe just for you to believe in another dream that you have.
But at the end of the day, Bator Kahlo is living her dream and loving it.
It gives me wings. That's all. It does, yeah. Gives me wings.
Now, if you would like to learn more about Bator Kahlo, we do have a link to her website, as well as a story on the educational partnership that brought her and many other Israeli musicians to the state. Just head to okhorizon.com and look under our Value Added section.
Still to come on Oklahoma Horizon, an Oklahoma music legend. But first, the technology behind the sound.
Few realize what it takes to make their favorite song pitch perfect. We visited a career tech program that teaches high school students the art of sound.
Hands-on learning with musical instruments, video, and audio helps students at Tulsa Technology Center leave career ready.
I could set up live shows from what I'm learning. I could work in TV or movies. There's a lot of different options that I could kind of go with.
Max Miller is a student in the Broadcast Sound Engineering program and says he will finish prepared for a job in music, broadcast, or production.
There's job readiness training in there as well to be ready to be hired once you get out in the industry.
The program lasts 1 year, training students to produce audio and video projects. Instructor Walt Bowers says students will leave the program with more preparation than their competitors.
We try to give what would be a 5-6 year head start, things we wish we would have known our first years as we were trying to hit industry.
Live type.
And co-instructor Michael Haggard says he is lucky to be able to use music as a teaching avenue.
We use, our musical talents as a vehicle to learn the production side. If they're coming in wanting to learn to be behind the camera, or the man behind the console, or the woman behind the console, that's really what we teach. And there's a lot of art to that. We just get to play with some really cool toys along the way.
Haggard says his students are creative, their work original, allowing him to learn from his students.
It just amazes me the things they'll do, and wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. And it's awesome. And then there are the times when you just see that light bulb come on, and you see them get excited, and that's just awesome. That just gives you goosebumps.
Haggard and Bowers have been a part of the industry for a combination of more than 70 years. And Miller says the experience his instructors have has been the key to his success in the program.
They're not just teaching you the content, but they really know how it works in real life situations.
Students are taught how to run their own audio, video, or production company from the ground up, from buying the right equipment to marketing strategies. And Haggard says the program prides itself in advanced hands-on training with professional equipment.
To our knowledge, there's not another program that has this extent of studio at high school. We are very, very blessed and very lucky to have what we have.
And Bowers says it's a self-promoting industry that you have to have a passion for.
It's an art form. We love it because we're using our technology, powerful technology, to create our art, but it's an art form. So you don't get to walk into jobs that often like a nurse or a welder saying, here's what I've done some work for free, here's what I can accomplish for you, listen to this or see this. and that starts to bring your work as you go. So it's got to be something you love.
I have my kids at home, and then I have my kids here. When they do something, I'm right there. Hey, that's my student.
Students in the program have access to 15 studios filled with professional production equipment, helping them hit the right note when getting a job.
Want to share something you've seen here today? Well, all of our episodes are streaming on our YouTube channel at Oklahoma Horizon TV, or you can subscribe to our weekly free podcasts on iTunes.
Well, each year, Oklahoma is the gathering place for those paying tribute to a person and a sound born in the Sooner State. Keela Kellen takes us to the annual Woody Guthrie Festival.
It's a sound that Woody Guthrie would be proud of. From a son paying tribute to his father, to musicians of all generations and genres. Every July, Okemah becomes a hotbed of folk music.
Okemah is everybody's hometown. It's just a really nice community with really wonderful people here. A lot of hard-working people, successful people.
Woody Guthrie kind of people.
Woody Guthrie kind of people. Well, of course, Woody was a child of the Oklahoma Dust Bowl and the Oklahoma, the Nationwide Depression, and he was, you'd have to say he was from the poor side of the tracks.
Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more.
Guthrie's birth is celebrated in his hometown of Okemah, where each summer families and entertainers gather together for events to help keep the memory and traditions of the folk legend alive.
Oh, I ain't gonna study war no more.
David Armand traveled all the way from New York.
He was always conscious of people who were hurting. Some of his great songs and a lot of his activity was to try to help out people who had no voice, who were in need, who were hurting, but not at the expense of demonizing those who had something, but rather celebrating all of us being together. When he said, "This land is your land," it was meant for you and me, he meant that literally, that all of us should be part of the blessings that we have here in this beautiful place of ours.
I walk alone along this highway with friends that gather.
Arlo Guthrie, son of Woody Guthrie, comes each year to help celebrate and show respect to his father's legacy.
Over the howling winds will cease to be. I walk with friends from every nation on freedom's highway in times like these.
An event that honors not only a life and a legend, but most importantly, strives to keep the music playing.
You can keep up with us throughout the week. Just head to okhorizon.com, where you can see more of any of our stories, read our reporters behind the scenes blogs, see what others are saying about us on Twitter, and face the facts with our regular updates. So reach out and touch us anywhere and anytime.
Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, we take a look into the future with our annual Economic Outlook series.
The momentum of the state, the momentum at the U.S. level suggests that 2015 could actually be a very big year in Oklahoma. It's just that one big variable about the path of oil prices.
Looking ahead to see what 2015 has in store on Oklahoma's show for the Heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Thanks for including us as a part of your day. Rob McClendon will be back next week. I'm Courtney May. Thanks for watching.
Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education and the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. Copies of today's show are available on our website, okhorizon.com. Thank you for watching Oklahoma Horizon.